Hey man, welcome to the channel today. Basically, long story short, I really I really like the Five Nights and Story series. I don't know much about it, but I remember as a kid, basically the first Five Nights at Freddy's game was it I think it was three. It was three, and then as soon as I played four, like this was even like pre like bro, I don't even know how like maybe fourth grade, like grade five, six, definitely like grade four, grade three. That's when I was introduced to Five Nights at Freddy's. Scary game, terrifying, time skip. And then we play four. We played four. And then that was what like basically made me no longer want to play because of how genuinely terrifying it was for me at the time. So, and I would see that Abu Markiplier, they would be like playing these games. I never really watched it, but then anytime I see like an edit, I get the premise of the game, this, that, the third, get in, get out, get in, get out. But apparently there's whole lore and story behind it too. And then I remember when the Five Nights at Freddy's movie came out, I was like, damn, I'm really gonna watch the movie. I haven't watched it yet, so that's unfortunate. And then I find out that there's a new one in the making, a part two in the making, and I'm like, nah, I have to watch the first movie, but then I don't want to like watch it without having a clue of what's going on. And me playing the games, I don't know what I got from that. But then apparently there's 8 hours worth of lore, and long story short, I'm gonna break these things down because there's no way I'm reacting to a whole basically 9 hour thing. So yeah, I'm trying to understand the story behind it. So with that said, let's hop into it and let's see.
Hello and welcome to The Absurds. My name is Gibby, and I have written scripts well over 100 pages before, but I have never tackled a subject like this. This is the most complicated narrative I have ever unwound on my channel. If you're a longtime viewer, then you know that my bread and butter are unbelievable stranger-than-fiction true stories, and fictional worlds that are so detailed they feel like reality. And the most interesting thing I discuss are the intersections between these fantastical fictions and the unbelievable stories and joy behind their creations. In this video, I'm going to talk about Five Nights at Freddy's. The internet will have you believe this is the most complicated video game story ever told. And they are correct. Well, this
Okay.
video is going to serve as a full overview of the franchise, so even people who are completely unfamiliar with it will be able to follow along. But I will also go into minute detail as I attempt to do the impossible and craft a coherent, all-encompassing timeline of events in FNAF. So if you've been with the franchise since 2014 like I have, or if you just want to know what all the fuss is about with the new movie coming out, stay tuned. We're about to go on a journey together. Buckle up for the next 7 or so hours. Five Nights at Freddy's started life as an indie game developed by a single man, Scott Cawthon. It has since spawned nearly a dozen sequels, multiple series of novels, and an upcoming movie being produced by horror juggernaut Blumhouse. I
Hmm.
say upcoming knowing full well that within a few short weeks this video will be outdated by the movie, but hey, that's how YouTube works. I can't sit on this video forever. Most people know the story by heart, but it's important to cover the origins of the franchise, because I think that understanding the author is one of the best ways to start looking into the meaning of a piece of art. Scott Cawthon released several failed indie games before Five Nights at Freddy's, most of them using simple yet stylized graphics that look straight out of the early 90s. Something that's brought up a lot is that Scott is a devout Christian, and so his games featured themes that you would
What? Okay, I'm not saying like, hey man, it's just it gets dark. Like, what do you mean? Like with all the night, especially with the nightmare fuel that is Five Nights at Freddy's 4, where it's a literal kid surviving animatronics. How the how did they even? Now that I think about it, how did number four, like how did they even get there? Why are they just in? Is this how like they were? Because I know the premise of it is kids sold something, man. Like something has to do with kids being sacrificed, or I don't know. But it's like, oh, is this what they're doing? They started with the restaurants, and then from there they go to their houses to kill them or to take them, or I don't understand, man. But them jump scares look like definite one shot kills, especially Nightmare, bro. That black thing, bro. I would always be like, I made it to this night, but the more, bro, I got past level one, night one, night two, night, bro, I'm still shaking. Like, I don't know what to do. I'm just pressing buttons and hoping to survive. Like, bro, it was just survival. That's just what it was. I've never reached the sixth night or the fifth night because I think by the third night, where they were coming in more and more and more, I'm like, oh, bro, and why was I playing it at night too? That shit F with me. And to this day, I still get Five Nights at Freddy nightmares. Even like just 2, 3 days ago, I did. I was like, hell no, that shit crazy. But hey,
Find in works created by religious people. I don't think that's actually an important part of the story of Five Nights at Freddy's, which I'm going to call FNAF from now on, because that's just way too long of a title to keep saying. I think the internet just likes highlighting Scott as being religious, because it makes the turn from bright and chipper games he used to make to the dark and legitimately disturbing FNAF all the more drastic,
yeah,
dramatic. Of course, I don't want to undercut the role that God plays in works created by faithful people. I think a lot of religious people would say that God is present in all of their creative endeavors. But it's so weird to me that people label Scott as a Christian when so many creators, especially here in America, are Christian. I've never seen a video essay about Skyrim open by discussing how Todd Howard is Catholic. I just think it's wild that when people are discussing FNAF theories, someone will say, well, you know, Scott is Christian, as if the vast, vast majority of art people consume isn't made by a religious person. Anyway, the game he made right before FNAF was actually called Chipper & Sons Lumber Company.
Loki looked like Freddy.
See, that's why I described his older games as Chipper. Is a pun. But before Scott made Chipper & Sons, he created a much darker game in 2012 called The Desolate Hope. This game is intentionally dark, frightening even. Scott didn't go from Veggie Tales to child murder.
Okay, so I can see how he took inspiration from. Okay.
He was a normal adult creator who made some games for kids and some games for older people. Again, I think the focus on Scott's past is meant to point to FNAF being this breaking point, where he was so desperate with one final chance for success that he let the inner darkness of his soul come out to make this horrific experience. But I honestly don't think it was that dramatic. A major criticism of Chipper & Sons was that the characters looked like scary animatronics, and so Scott decided his next game would have intentionally scary animatronics. I don't think Scott was waving his fist in the air saying, if this is what you want, I'll show you scary. I think he did what he would continue to do while making the FNAF series. He made his next game using the feedback he got from his previous game. And so Five Nights at Freddy's was born, a horror game about demonic-looking animatronics right out of your 1980s Chuck E. Cheese.
But now I got a question. So was the lore probably gonna be explained? So the lore that he created in the world, in like, was that planned or was it something that came after? Or did like fans create lore around it and then he said, if this is what you want, basically, yeah. Because if he did that, that'd be kind of crazy because and he didn't really take their ideas, but not crazy in like, I'm saying it's like crazy as in interesting, but like, would be crazy because it's like, damn, he never planned on having a story and now he's saying, you know what, since y'all want a story, let's try to make a story out of it. Or was it something like, it's a part of the plan. This is the process. There's lore behind it. There's stuff behind it. Because when I'm playing the game, I don't see any lore. I just see survival, or is it things where it's like you have to complete like Easter eggs and then find things. I don't know, man. I just play to survive.
Cheese-inspired nightmares. Like Slender the 8 pages before it, FNAF became a favorite among YouTube Let's Play
Like, what lore could you get from this, you know?
because it gave them plenty of opportunities to scream loudly at the camera to entertain their viewers.
Oh god! What the okay?
The game became very popular after being picked up by big Let's Players like Markiplier. It sold enough copies that Scott could quit his day job and develop games as a career. I don't think Scott made his game with YouTubers in mind, I think it was a happy accident. But that's not to take away from what made the original FNAF really great. FNAF is this weird mix of many video game genres that has never really existed before. You don't move in the game, you just sit in one office, which is really just a stretched JPEG that's been given a cylinder shape so you can look side to side and be given the illusion of depth. The only thing you can do is look at security cameras and close 2 doors on either side of you. It's not exactly a survival horror game, it's not exactly a tower defense, it's not exactly point and click, it's not exactly a game of Pac-Man. It's a weird combination of all of those things. Let me set the stage for you. Pun definitely intended. In Five Nights at Freddy's, you play as a security guard at a fictionalized version of Chuck E. Cheese. They got arcade machines, they got pizza, they got animatronics that sing and entertain the kids, and they got animatronics that sing and terrify the kids. It's just how it is. You have to stay there from midnight until 6 a.m. and just watch the building. But soon you learn that you're not there to keep vandals and burglars out. You're there because of the animatronics. Every night you hear a recorded message from the previous nighttime guard.
But then what's the job description? Your job is to keep them in, but they never leave. As far as I know, they never leave. Your job, what's your job? A security guard to, okay, yeah, security guard, nobody gets in, that's the job description. But the guy, he would say things like, it's about to get creepy, or you might think you're seeing things, but you're not seeing things. Like, after night 1, why do you keep coming back? Why do you keep coming? I never thought about that. Why does bro keep coming back? Does he, so like, does he come back because he said, I want to run my fade? Does he come back to say that, nah, I was seeing things, I was tripping? Like, why does this, bro, after night 1, I'm done.
Over the phone, which led the community to dub this character Phone Guy. Phone Guy explains that the animatronics have to walk around occasionally to prevent their servos from locking up.
Okay, so he does tell you that they walk around. I mean, to be fair, they're animatronics, they always perform during the day. But nah, bro, if they're coming towards me and they're looking at me like "Imnyang, one pegi straight live." So yo, it's just I'm walking away. Like now I'm closing the door, leaving, because I wouldn't feel some hey there, Freddy, or stupid machine. Ah, daughter.
That they can't do it during the day because in the past, letting them walk around led to the bite of 87, in which someone lost the frontal lobe.
I always hear about that, especially when it's connected around like Markiplier. He'll be like, oh, the bite of 87. That was should have been the light bulb moment for me. That because anytime I looked up the bite of 87, I was like, what is this? And then it would just make me listen to a kid screaming or crying in pain. Oh my days, that was terrifying. But it's like that made me realize that okay, they could actually be lore in this game. So hey, because the comments are talking about like it's this big thing. So
Of their brain. The animatronics have some level in which someone lost the frontal lobe of their brain.
damn.
The animatronics have some level of artificial intelligence, and Phone Guy says that if they see you, they'll probably think you're an endoskeleton in need of a mascot suit. So they'll drag you to the back room and stuff you into a spare suit, which would kill you. The game, then, is to survive until 6 a.m. suit, which would kill.
Oh, okay. Okay, so hmm, is that bro's eyes popping out? because of the and I see teeth. Is that why like Springtrap has this design? Like Springtrap, Bonnie, Golden, but I don't know, has like I would know like bro. I saw like somebody's head in there. So like, was that like the first security guard that got? Nah. Hmm. What is his name? Because Springlock is this final boss that people gas up. He has a name. I forgot the name.
Kill you. The game then is to survive until 6 a.m. by
Like he's evil as hell.
warding off characters and protecting yourself from them using strategy and techniques that you learn through trial and error, with some hints from Phone Guy. You survive 5 nights, get a paycheck, and the game ends.
Okay.
That's the basis of Five Nights at Freddy's. It's just pattern recognition with a creepy atmosphere and some subtle lore and lots of jump scares, which made it the perfect game to play for a YouTube channel. It's one thing to play the game and slowly learn how to beat each night and best each animatronic, but when you do, you get frustrated every time you die because you just don't know why. The game is not great at communicating exactly what you're supposed to be doing, which led to a lot of myths and legends at the time about easy ways to best certain characters like Foxy. But if you're watching somebody play, not only do you get to watch them figure it out on their own, but when they die, it's not frustrating, it's hilarious. They scream and make fun.
If the video randomly cuts, then I'm sorry. I'll have to save it for another day because I feel like I just got hoed. Hold on, let me check. 5. There it is.